Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and today Eitan and I are diving deep into the idea of staying in the flow. I'm sure it's a concept, it's a buzzword these days, what it means to be in the flow, connecting to your flow, divine flow. You know, even we've said over, I don't know, it's a phrase that's existed for quite some time, going with the flow. And if you've studied Kabbalah or been with our podcast, listened any period of time, you know that when we talk about flow, it's not about, oh, change of plans, now I have to go with the flow. The teachings of Kabbalah really guide us to live in the flow, not to tap into it when it's needed, but to occupy that spiritual space more than we're not in the flow. And so this week we're learning more and more from the universe about how elemental the flow is, not only to manifesting things, making things happen, being in a good mood, but literally that flow is the source of all blessings, healing, intuition, guidance, and now more than ever, we have the opportunity to access that natural state and find out really why it's not as consistent or constant as we'd like it to be. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast where we provide our listeners with the most powerful and practical tools to navigate the coming 7 days. We do that through sharing the wisdom and tools of Kabbalah. And every week, even though it's focusing specifically on the gifts and the potential pitfalls of the coming week, it offers invaluable lessons and tools for any time. And that's why specifically the influence of course, this week's energy, together with the energy of healing that permeates the entire month of ER, the entire month of Taurus, plus a unique window in time that opens toward the end of this week, we really have the opportunity to level up our connection to our unique source of flow. And we're here to talk about how to do that. So Eitan, where should we begin?
I think first, what does it really mean, flow, and being with the flow? You know, a lot of everybody, I think, would love just to flow, that everything is smooth and everything is light and everything is amazing. But think about it. Our ego also have a flow. Imagine you have a plan to speak about yourself, that people are gonna love you, and then to continue with self-indulgence plans and ignoring other people, and everything seemed to be so perfect. People saying whatever you want them to say about you, and everything goes your way, and you couldn't care less about anybody else, and your selfish behavior seemed to be supported, and who cares? I just like my own pleasures, my own entertainment. I don't care about my family needs. I'm in the flow. I just feel my feelings and feel my energy and feel my needs. And it seemed to be that the universe supporting me. Is it really being in the flow? That's being in the flow of the ego, which maybe temporarily I might get some satisfaction from everything is aligned. But because it's aligned with my selfish needs, ego needs, that's not real flow. So what is a real flow? The infinite light of the Creator, shining its love, its creativity, its intuition, its blessings, its guidance, specifically to each one of us according to what our specific soul meant to do and to be today. So being in the flow is raising my consciousness to a place called, actually, in the 3 levels of the soul, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, the highest place, Neshama, that I'm aligned to that guidance. I'm aligned to that love that's supposed to be channeled through me, or wisdom, or understanding, or inspirations, or new projects, or ideas, or guidance, or go to the right, or go to the left. So being in the flow means I don't want the Creator to be to be aligned to my selfish, limited needs. I want me to align to my higher self, to my higher soul, in order to allow the flow of really the plan of the Creator that will go through me. And while this is our goal, to be pure channel 24/7, and that's called heaven on earth, or in Kabbalistic terminology, it's called the end of correction, individually and collectively. None of us are there. So life really is about connecting to this moment that in a true flow and channel and revealing good and bringing more light to the world, and healing the time that I'm not. Healing and finding ways to heal and to transform the blockages that don't let me, don't let others, and don't let the word be in the flow. So out of the entire month, which is the month of healing, I think this week specifically is the greatest month to heal the parts of us and as a result of others, in order to align and to be in the flow. So that's step number one, I think, the big picture. So what would be step number two, Elisheva?
I think, as with any change, awareness is essential. Meaning, the more that we are able to observe those moments where we're out of alignment or we fall out of flow, the more we can do proactively to stay in the flow, and also the faster we'll catch ourselves as we fall out of flow to bring ourselves back into flow. So there's two things that I think can be helpful. One is to perceive that experience of our inner world. And when I say inner world, I'm saying it specifically because you just brought up the idea that sometimes feeling in the flow can be ego flow and not soul flow. So when we talk about our inner world, right, there's constantly these two forces that are at work. We have the voice of our soul, our divine connection, like you said, the calling from the light of the Creator and that infinite force that's guiding us and pushing us in the right direction every day and at all times. Then we have the voice of our ego, the voice of our opponent, that's also narrating the story, right? Kind of sometimes in the front, sometimes in the foreground, sometimes in the background. And Kabbalah talks about the essential ability to recognize the voice of the opponent, to be able to see these are the ways that my negativity shows up. These are my triggers. This is my tikkun. These are the negative patterns I am prone to, and to preemptively take steps to prevent ourselves from falling into those patterns. So for example, I mean, our teacher Karen Berg used to say, if a person has a gambling issue, they shouldn't live in Vegas. They shouldn't go on vacation to Vegas, right? That it's a simple level of awareness that maybe there's certain people that trigger your insecurity. Maybe social media doesn't put you in a healthy headspace. Maybe when you get around certain relatives, certain hurts from the past are triggered. That doesn't mean you avoid the people. It doesn't mean you avoid the situations altogether. You cancel them or you pretend that they don't exist, but rather you do what you need to. And it's funny because a student came up to me in class after class last night, and she said, does Kabbalah talk about how sometimes you're totally at the mercy of your ego and sometimes your soul is like in full control and it comes and it goes? And we were talking about the Kabbalistic calendar and how there are, in a way, because the Kabbalistic calendar is intended to help us measure energy versus scheduling and planning and goal setting and whatnot, because we can predict, okay, this is a month in which X, Y, and Z are a potential channel. We don't learn those things so that we can crawl into bed for 30 days and wait for it to be over. We learn those things so that we can fortify ourselves to be aware and ahead of the triggers and the challenges. In the same way that if you know that you went out to lunch with someone yesterday and today they have the flu, you'll probably start to take vitamin C and maybe make some chicken soup and take whatever you need to strengthen your immune system. When we know that we could be in a potentially negative situation, something that can take us out of the flow, we know to do what we can do to strengthen our spiritual immune system, our spiritual defenses, so that we won't fall to those potholes, let's call them. So I think part of it is awareness, being able to objectively say, this is challenging for me, this is difficult for me, I'm not there yet in this area of my life. And then to say, what do I need in order to strengthen my spiritual shield or my spiritual muscles to be able to not fall when I find myself around those people or around that situation. Or, by the way, sometimes it's a time of year that brings up a painful memory and puts a person in a place of sadness or regret. It's knowing what are the elements that I need to be more in the flow proactively, so that even if something triggers me, I don't fall completely out of alignment with the guidance of my soul.
Beautiful. So I think the next part, and it's a practical tool, and I would like to frame it. How can we heal ourselves when we feel not aligned with our soul, with the light of the Creator, because I feel agitated, I feel physical hurt, I feel anxious, I feel worried, I feel irritated, I feel frustrated, which spiritually I might know I don't want to stay in that reactive mode. I don't want to be in a state of complaining about my pain, but it is what it is. So how do we allow healing? So actually, when the Kabbalah speaks about healing, and the original healer was Aaron, the high priest, speaks about Aaron, he was seeking peace, he was seeking wholeness. The word peace in Hebrew is shalom, that comes from the word shalom, whole, complete. When I feel any type of physical or emotional irritation and disturbance, I don't feel whole, because part of me wants to feel better, and I'm experiencing something opposite of my desire. All of us would like to feel whole, we'd like to feel aligned. What is the healing that needs to take place here? Is to realize, number one, that every experience that I'm experiencing, include the most disturbing experiencing, from the point of view of the force of the Creator, from the point of view of the light, is to help me to align to a greater flow, and as a result to a greater blessings in my life. So why I feel disturbed? Because there's part within me, limited thoughts, limited fears, major tikkuns, blockages from past lifetime, different ego traits that hidden within me that blocking the flow of the light. Kabbalistically, any irritation that I feel within me, it's not because of the outside, might have been triggered by the outside, it's because of different blockages, energetic blockages, that blocking me to accept the great will and desire of the Creator to give me more love and blessing. So instead of focusing about changing the experience, I would like to focus to heal and to transform those blockages, which I might don't I might don't know specifically what are those blockages, and it's okay. So here the light comes. To me, it appears as a disturbing blockage. I know what I need to eliminate and to heal and to cleanse is that blockage. And how do you do it? And the Kabbalist tells us the fact that to allow yourself to feel the disturbing feeling, you allow yourself to observe the negative thoughts and the movies and the judgment about it. But you are the observer, you are the healer. You decided, now, as difficult as it is, I'm stepping outside of the situation, attached to my greater soul, and looking at myself from above. And just by observing him, and willing and asking to feel it and to accept it with love, because I know there's light in this experience, just my own blockage blocking the light to be revealed and to be felt. So the fact that I'm observing it and accepting it with love, or trying to accept it with love, in the same way, you will try to support someone else that they are in pain, and you're there standing there, not judging them, and send them light and healing to be able to actually allow them to feel surrounded with light. That's by itself healing. So how do you heal? When you do something to remove the space between the limited me and the flow of the Creator. By feeling the uncomfortable feeling without judgment of myself, without judging of the situation, and trusting that's for my best, and be willing to sit in that place and knowing feeling it is healing it.
I think for a lot of people, what you just said is groundbreaking, earth-shattering, because we tend to look at challenges or triggers or frustrations as the problem. And we look at the physical experience in our world and we think, but I'm a good person. I'm doing all the right things. I'm kind, I'm generous, I'm charitable, I'm, comparing to the rest of the world, I'm a good person. Not realizing that we're not here to be good people. We're here to transform and heal exactly those parts of ourselves that judge, jump to conclusions, worry, fear, all of those aspects. Because again, going back to the very basic premise of all these conversations, we're here to be as much like the light of the Creator as we can possibly be while in our bodies. So even though there may be some constraints around being in a physical body, what brings us to every lifetime is the quest to be like the light of the Creator, both light-like, and also, and this to me is what the other part of the opportunity of this work of healing is to be closer to the light of the Creator. And that also is a spiritual muscle that needs to be trained. That in a situation comes up, something triggering, uncomfortable, frustrating, difficult, how quickly do we reach for wisdom and consciousness and clarity about, even if it's difficult, right? The fact that something is, you have a higher perspective about something doesn't mean it's not painful. In the midst of the pain, you can reframe the experience to be one that builds you, one that strengthens you. And the easiest one for me to use as an example is in breaking up a relationship. It doesn't matter who initiated it or how it happened. The heart breaks a little bit. We use that word. We say heartbreak. But if we understand that every time that our heart breaks, it's actually growing. Every time that our heart breaks, and not that we should seek heartbreak, but one of the benefits of having a broken heart is that as the heart heals, it has a greater capacity of love than it did in the previous relationship. So even though it's difficult, and you can hear there could be an entire soundtrack of how terrible and how horrible and how this wasn't supposed to be and why did this happen, and that there's so many different frames you can view it in: victim, blaming, angry, resentful, sad. There's so many different ways you can process the loss of a relationship. You can also experience that pain at the same time activating, and this is really what it means to live in the flow, is activating that higher part of yourself that knows it's the best thing that could have happened. It's preparing you for the forever relationship. It's strengthening your heart and your mind and your soul to be ready to handle the real thing. When you're in the midst of your pain, it's not easy to activate it, but that's really the work. That's the healing of the heart comes from activating, tapping into that divine wisdom that's already inside you, right? It may be helpful to listen to a podcast or to read a book or to reach out to a teacher or a mentor to get that support, to get that reminder, because the soul knows it. It's just about bringing it into your awareness over and over and over again. The same way that if you want to strengthen the core muscles in your body, going to the gym once isn't going to do it. Taking one class isn't going to do it. It needs to be a consistent effort. And through that consistent effort, the strength, in our bodies, the blood flows the blood flows stronger in a muscle that's being activated. So you can imagine that as we strengthen ourselves spiritually, light flows more strongly through us. So it's not about not having issues and not having challenges. It's in the midst of the challenge, can I activate my higher self? Can I tap into that divine wisdom and tap back into the flow that's naturally there for me? That's really the work. So it's less about, okay, I'm out of the flow right now. How can I get back to it? Or yesterday was such an easy day. Why did today have to be so difficult? It's the realization that only in those moments that I'm triggered or it's difficult do I actually have the opportunity to expand my capacity for greater love or greater wisdom or greater compassion. So it's a big part of the work is proactively reframing even how we look at the difficult moments, at the painful moments, so that when those painful moments come, we're ready to accept them through a different perspective, which then changes how they affect us.
Beautiful. I think one of the biggest challenges when we're trying to accept reality or difficulties or pain with love, and that's the work of healing, is really accepting ourselves with love. Because we're so prone to think that whenever I'm out of alignment, something is wrong with me. So I might say, the light, the creator, allow me to accept this challenge with love. It allow me to reconnect to flow. But then, deep inside, there's some self-doubt, something is wrong with me. And part of that accepting the reality with love is actually reminding myself and talking to myself, regardless how I feel, my true essence is bright and it's limitless and it's beautiful and it's love. And please, Creator, help me to know that and to feel that. Yeah, I can hear all the negative chatter in my mind. It's not always useful to fight the negative thoughts. Sometimes let them be and tell them, I hear you, but that's not the real me. So it's so important as part of realignment with the flow, and we're saying accepting the reality with love, is accepting myself with love now. And that's big part also of able to heal other people. Each one of us, in our own capacity, you don't have to be a teacher, a mentor, a coach, you can be a parent, you can be a friend, you can be co-worker. Each one of us in our own way meant to be a healer to other people. And one of the ingredients of a true healer is feeling the pain of others, which is compassion. So a true healer doesn't look at himself, I'm the healer and you are my patient. A true healer allowed oneness between you and the person that you are with. And you're actually realizing, and that's what I've learned from my teacher, Karen Berg, when you're sitting in front of someone that needs help, you realize that the Creator placed that person in your life right now because you have something in you that you need to heal. You're in the same boat. You're not better than that person. You need to heal within yourself. And from that place of no judgment, no above, no below, self-acceptance and acceptance of the other person, you can begin to channel energy of wholeness. As you support, you know you heal yourself. Actually, by healing the aspect of them that exist in you, you can help the most to heal others. By you being the savior, it's not anymore shalom, wholeness. The true healing is knowing that we are both connected. So that's a major aspect in the healing. And another thing about healing others, who am I? Sometimes our mind tells you that I can actually make a difference in that person's life. The fact that I'm a channel to support someone doesn't mean I'm perfect. Doesn't mean I know it all. Doesn't mean I finish my correction. The opposite. We're in the same boat. But while I'm being put in a position to heal, to share, to help, to alleviate pain, to awaken your awareness, to awaken your understanding, to help the other person to accept reality, to help the other person to become more soulful, I need to understand it's not about me. It's not I'm doing it. I'm permitting the support of the Creator through me to happen. And it's not ego to think I can be a channel to heal. The Creator placed me in a place I can be a conduit.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
sorry. I was just going to say, it's not a coincidence that we have on this Thursday night and Friday, one of the most powerful days in the Kabbalistic calendar for taking a leap in terms of our connection to light and wisdom and really miracles. The cosmic window itself is called Lag BaOmer, but for students of Kabbalah, it has an extra special connotation, extra special opportunity, because it is the day on which the author of the Zohar, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, elevated from the physical reality. And Kabbalah teaches that on the day a person elevates, on the anniversary of that day, we can access all of the light that they revealed in their lifetime. So if in his lifetime, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai revealed all the light of the Zohar, all of the light of the Zohar is accessible to us from Thursday night to Friday night this coming week. So in Kabbalah centers around the world and online, we're going to be engaging in study and celebration. And I don't know, if for those of us who can't physically be present or can't stream, which we can share with you all the information on weeklyenergyboost.com on the homepage, what can people do to take advantage of this special window in time?
So, first, the light of the Zohar, the light of this great soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, accessing what we call Kabbalistically Bina consciousness, which is the 8th level, if you count from the bottom levels out of the 10, the 8th level of consciousness. And 8 is the dimension of miracle. 8 is the dimension that exists within us. Our heart is totally open, no matter what's happening in our life. I see just the love of the Creator. And I see that my true essence to receive for the sake of sharing. So actually, this is the day that in whatever way you engage with the Zohar, either online or in any other way, that you want to open yourself, to attach yourself to the soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and attach yourself to this great light of healing. We talk about flow, alignment with the flow of the Creator. You know, one of the Kabbalistic principles that just recently Michael Berg spoke about is receiving assistance from righteous souls from the upper world. So actually Thursday night, Friday day, beside us trying to be better, to improve, just pause and open your heart and your soul to receive assistance with the great soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. The fact that it's death anniversary, it means his soul coming to visit us. It's the vibration of the soul of Rabbi Shimon is more present in our life. So whatever you can do, light a candle, meditate, find a verse from the Zohar, close your eyes, open your heart to receive the light of being a healer for others, to receive the light of experiencing that actually in seeing and feeling that the Creator loves you at all time. And most important, we all meant to create miracles for others and not just live within our confined mind. So let's take advantage of what's the blessings of this week.
Definitely. And we'll put those resources on weeklyenergyboost.com for anybody who wants to participate. Weekly Energy Boost is available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. When you follow us there, you can receive additional content, videos, and things like that to help support you in applying what we share every week. You can also go to weeklyenergyboost.com, where we have more resources for you on how you can connect not only with the Zohar, but all the things that we talk about on weeklyenergyboost.com, as well as search our archives, send us a message, and click the donate button. But as always, we encourage you to continue to share. And if you haven't already, rate and review this episode, rate and review the podcast, subscribe, and help us reach to the phones, to more devices, more consciousness, more people, and really make a difference on really every day. We're growing and we're reaching more people, and we owe that to you. So keep sharing, and we'll see you next time on the Weekly Energy Boost.